What is going on, everybody? Let's see if I can get some people here. If not, we'll get started. But for those of you that are not here for live, welcome to a special edition at Hochman Fabrication at Speed. We are not currently in the normal shop, but rather we are in the OG shop. Let me see if I can rotate this camera. So by OG shop, I mean the original shop. This is actually the home shop, for those of you who are not familiar with it. This is where it all began. This is the home shop where Hochman Fabrication and Speed all started. As you can see, I've got sort of a mini shop layout here. Mini to me, at least. I've just got sort of my basic needs. I've got my grinder and my polisher, which I've transformed into a diamond wheel so that I can easily prep my tungsten. And I've got my mini bandsaw here, which is a portable bandsaw set up on one of these swag off-road tables. It's a good mini setup for those of you guys that are fabricators or looking to set up something for your house. This doesn't take a lot of space up. Got a little drill press here, Harbor Freight. Got a little belt sander here. Got my Harbor Freight press. This is really what kind of started it all. Welder. But the reason that we're here tonight is because I want to give you guys an update on Black Zenith EVO. I wasn't going to give anybody any real updates on this channel or online, really, for that matter. But given all this coronavirus stuff that's going on, I figured you guys could use a little pick-me-up for those of you that are following this build. As you can see, I've made some changes this year, and I want to go over a little bit of that tonight. One of those changes is pretty obvious. We got some nice Volk 15-inch rims, along with some new Mickey Thompson slicks, and as you can tell, I've also got a new brake setup on here. This is actually the Willwood mini brake setup from STM Tune, and I've had them powder coated. These are the scallops rotors. As you can tell, that's what's got the sort of a little waviness into the caliper. It's all about weight reduction on that. But we've done that in the rears as well, except in the rears, they're not a vented caliper. They're just drilled. And they're also, as you can tell, got that scalloped design. So that's also really lightweight. So kind of, I guess, starting with the rolling chassis setup on this car and what I've changed with it. We've got our brake setup. We ended up doing Kurt Brown ceramic wheel bearings as well, all the way around, along with the new wheels, which we just mounted and balanced last night. Shout out to the tire guy who showed up here at my house. He's a mobile tire shop. This guy drives around and will mount and balance your tires at your house, which is a pretty awesome concept if you ask me. And quite frankly, I think it's before its time. Everybody's about convenience these days, and waiting in a shop is really not the way to do it. So this guy will come to your shop or your house. So look up the tire guy if you're in the Chicagoland area. Getting back to the build, we ended up doing a full tubular chassis, tubular subframes, I should say, on here. And you can see everything is tubular now. I did not make this stuff, by the way. This is all Diamond Race. If there's a product in the marketplace and it's done well, then I won't, try and compete with them or remake it myself unless it's, minimal in terms of scope of work. But, tubular subframes is definitely not small scope of work. And the fact that these guys are doing a good job at it, I decided to go ahead and just have them make me some. So we've got that in the rear as well, along with the APR, or agency power, I should say, rear control arms. I guess I could go back there and give you guys a better perspective on what's going on there. As you can tell, I don't have my nice lifts like I have at the shop here, but definitely have some better than average lifts here at the house shop. So you can see we've got all of our rear tubular subframe as well. And everything has titanium hardware on it, which is nice. We also did all the new bushings from Whiteline. I went ahead and replaced all the ball joints with hard race ball joints. So pretty much everything on the rolling chassis has been replaced. And as far as the motor goes, the motor was pulled and brought out to boost in performance along with the transmission. They refreshed the PPG dog box, put in some new bearings, replaced fourth gear, which had a little bit of wear on it. It wasn't really 100% necessary, but while it was apart, working with PPG, figured might as well go ahead and get that replaced. The block itself has been filled, full concrete filled block. We reused the pistons actually that were in it. We have wife's code pistons, boost and spec. We're also using Turbo Tough rods. We ended up being able to use those because those were in good condition. The crank actually was the stock crank. We had it checked out and it was no good, so went ahead and put in a Cali's billet crank. All new bearings, obviously. It's got a CNC ported head now, a boosted in performance CNC ported head. It's all Kigley valve train, still running the S3 GSC cams on it. And yeah, that kind of brings me to, let's see, what else did we change? We did a bunch of wiring changes. I went through the entire wiring harness, rewrapped everything, gave it labels. Also went through the entire fuel system has been updated. Went with a EVO spec double pumper setup. It's running dual 525 pumps now in car. And I actually ended up deleting the rear seat. I've got a carbon fiber panel that is not in here yet, but it's just open along with the rear partition, as they call it. That's going to be installed later along with it. But it's got, the fuel system's been updated. We also went to ID 2600s, so we've got plenty more fuel now. And as you can tell, I don't have anything in here. That's what I'm working on right now. I'm working on my turbo kit. So I forget your name, but somebody had specifically requested to have a video on the turbo kit, the new manifold that was being made. And so here you go. As you can tell, I've tried something a little bit different than my normal style on building manifolds. This is definitely not something that I'm planning on replicating. It takes a lot of work because I'm basically polishing out everything as I go. But tonight I ended up welding on the V-band for the turbine housing and the collector. And now I'm moving on to figuring out wastegate position, because as you can tell, I've got an open collector here, but I've got also a new hole. And you're probably wondering, why am I doing that? Why would I run dual wastegate on an open collector like this? Well, after finishing that 2G recently, we came to find that these new Zona rotor turbos require a lot more wastegate duty than my typical recipe that I would put together on, say, my last year's setup or another customer setup for that instance. Basically, these new UHF turbine housings, or turbine wheels for that matter, from Zona rotor, they are just tremendous in terms of producing almost no back pressure and being extremely efficient. So what that translates into is needing more wastegate. We ended up actually having to add a wastegate recently to that 2G that we built, similar to the way that I'm doing it on this one here. And so, as you can tell, I've decided to go ahead and do that here. Now, could we have gone with a single 60 millimeter? Yes, could have definitely done that, but may as well have some more flair to this whole setup that I'm building, considering it's going to be trying to stand out from the rest of the crowd. So dual wastegates, no problem. So that's where I'm at this point. We ended up going with a forward-facing setup. We've got the turbo plates pretty much right here. Pretty standard setup. I wanted to do something a little bit different and was looking at trying to do a top-mounted setup, but unfortunately, what it comes down to is a balance just like anything else. And you either want to win races or you want to stand out. I want to win races more than I want to stand out. I do want to stand out, but I want to win races more. And there's a reason everybody seems to be doing that. It's because that provides the best performance. So here I go. I don't have any predictions or anticipations as far as what the horsepower is going to be. I am running a new Zona Rotor 9569S, which is basically a 68 millimeter turbo with the new UHF turbine. I'm excited to see what its performance will be, and this is where we're at this point. So I'm almost finished with this turbo kit. After I do this manifold, I've got to build the downpipe and the dump tubes. I'm waiting on a wastegate from Tile. Hurry up, guys. And that's pretty much where we're at this point. So anyway, there's a lot more that I did to this vehicle that I've obviously not gone over. I mean, half size radiator, of course. I'm also running an electric water pump that goes along with the billet, or not the billet, I wish it was billet, but with the concrete filled block, you obviously are gonna run an electric water pump in order to keep the head cool, running the coolant in there. So we got a new fresh clutch in there as well from Quartermaster, running triple disc now, freshened up flywheel. I mean, everything on this vehicle has basically been refreshed or rebuilt. I've literally taken the entire drivetrain down, the motor is out, we had all the subframes out, all the bearings, all the bushings, everything has been completely replaced or refreshed. So it's gonna be a completely new car. The goal for this car at this point is to get this thing into the 8s. We ran consistently in the mid-9s last year. We broke a world record, and I think it's time to keep progressing. I mean, that's what this is all about. I'm not just gonna sit there and build a business that's building race cars and pushing the limits of fabrication and design only to run the same time every year. So we'll see what we can do. But anyway, I wanted to bring you guys up to speed on what's going on here a little bit with the black Zenith EVO. It's obviously here at the house shop because I don't have that kind of space in my, the business shop to have this thing sitting in a corner when I want to cater to the rest of the customers. So I've kind of split myself here over the winter time in order to make sure that this car's research and development can progress and it doesn't get in the way of the rest of the business and the customers that still need their servicing. So nonetheless, like I said, there's a bunch of stuff that I know I've forgotten to kind of go over on this build, but figured I'd chime in a little bit, give you guys a little taste on what's to come. Hopefully this whole world event, as I call it, will end soon and we can get back to racing, because let's face it, not only do we want to get back to our normal lives, but we want to get back to the track. So hope to see you all out there soon. Thanks for visiting. If you haven't already, hit that like and smash that subscribe button. It's the only way to help bring new content your way. And certainly if you have any feedback, love to hear from you. So thanks again, and I'm sure I'll see you soon. Take care.